Today we're going to talk about the choke function. It is a cool little feature of Drum Rack. So what I've done here is I've taken in an 808 core kit from the Drum Rack. So if you go to drums, you can actually see all of the different kits that you've got. And I've just got this one here, this 808 core. So I'm just going to open a new MIDI track. I've just brought that Drum Rack into the track. Click on this plus button and click this button here, which actually shows and hides the chain list. Then you want to click on the output section. You'll notice that by default, this is an Ableton core kit. You can see that the open hi-hat and the closed hi-hat have this choke of 1 connected to each other. If they share the same choke group, so 1 is a group, then they won't clash, right? So when they play, one plays and the other one switches off, and vice versa. So that's pretty cool because you don't really want your hi-hat and the closed hi-hat playing at the same time. But what we can do is take this to another level. So what we can do is just select all of the items in the drum rack, all of the samples that are in the drum rack. I just did that by pressing Control A, so it's really fast. And then send them all to choke 1. So that will just ensure that every time one sample plays, the other one is not playing. Insert a empty MIDI clip. If you click fold, you'll soon see every sample that's in your drum rack. You want to just add a note, copy that note into all of these, and you're probably thinking that's going to sound like shit, and it does. So let's solo that and hear that. That's it, nothing's happened. So in order to get a bit of movement and rhythm, we go into MIDI effects and go straight into arpeggiator. So let's bring an arpeggiator in there. By default, we've got up and straight. So let's just listen to the arpeggiator like that. So already you've got something happening with all of the sounds from the 808. What we can do then is start randomizing things. So let's just do that. And we can add groove. And we can change the gate length. So that just means more of the sample is played. Or reduce it. And obviously we can change the rate. So what I want to do is mess things up a bit because they're all in the same choke group. So I'm going to get some loops or some sounds in there that are not drum sounds just to mess things up a bit. Just randomly, just putting it just anywhere really. Put some weird random effects. Well, reverb's not exactly weird, but it's not exactly weird, but we can just put some effects and just put a corpus on this. Let's just now have a listen. Instead of bass, we'll just go for, let's see if we can find an orchestra hit. Something like this. That'll do. So we'll just bring that in where the hi-hats are. This is a brass stab. Now let's have a listen. Now we can change the gate length. Let's just reduce the swing. So on its own, it's probably not the best sounding thing, but once you connect it to a existing drum loop, you can get some pretty cool sounds. So let's just connect it to a Oliver Disco drum loop. I'm just going to put the volume just down a bit. Now let's change the swing. So just increase the swing there. Let's change the rate, we'll bring that down a bit. Now what's really cool is you could just go in and create an audio track, and I can actually solo this, and I'm just going to say a few things. I'm going to sing. Oh yeah, this is funky. Let's sing. I can't sing. Oh yeah, this is so cool. So I've just got some little vocal chops in there, and what I can do now is I'm going to just chop them up a little bit more. I'm going to drag some of these random vocal loops into the track. So you can just put some, we can just put some delay. And I did this earlier with a different loop. So yeah, it's pretty powerful and it's pretty interesting and just creates a bit of interest in the loop, and it's completely original. It's something that you have made up. So even though you could use a sample pack from wherever, that would end up sounding like everyone else's sample. You've got that bit of originality in your track, and I did that using Choke. So that's the first use case. The second use case is to set up different choke groups with Choke 1 and Choke 2. So here we go, we've got a empty chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my sample pack. I've typed in C minor in my samples. This is my splice samples. You might want to have a different way of finding your splice samples, but I've just done it that way. And literally everything in here is going to be C minor. And this is really random. So I'm just going to pull in everything and that is C minor into here. Let's just make sure they're all got the same choke group. All right, that sounds really cool, and actually I want to hear it with a beat, so let's just do that. So I've got some really good stuff going there, and you'll probably notice that what I was doing was replacing some of the samples I didn't like with different samples, and I think I've got a decent set now. So now what I want to do is I want to bring in some new samples. They're actually going to be in F minor. So I'm going to drag some F minor samples and connect them to choke group number 2. Once again, it's all pretty random stuff here. And you can see here that choke is set to none for all of them, whereas the ones we had before, which were in C minor, have a choke of 1. We're going to now select them all and set a choke of 2. Now what this is effectively doing is it's actually allowing everything that's in choke group 1 to play at the same time as what's in choke group 2. But if you're in choke group 2, you can't play at the same time, and vice versa with anything in choke group 1. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but let's just listen to the result. Now, that's quite busy, which is what I expected. So what you can do to make it less busy is reduce the rate and just change the randomization. And then listen to the beat at the same time. So as you can tell, just playing around with the arpeggiator and trying different things will get you a different sound design. Let's bring an operator sound into a drum rack. And in the chain, we're going to bring in a instrument. And by the way, remember that all of the items in the drum rack have a MIDI note associated with it. So let's just bring in some keys here. Let's just bring them in here. And you can actually send different notes to different choke groups so they can play and overlap with each other. Let's just put my own vocals in there that we recorded a bit before. Now I've only put 4 items in the drum rack, which actually means there will be notes that are not going to be played, which is cool because it gives it a bit of breathing space. So let's just give that a listen. This is funky. Oh, this is funky. Oh yeah. This is funky. Oh yeah. This is funky. This is funky. Oh, yeah. This is funky. So that's it for today. I hope you got something out of this video. If you've got any questions, put them in the likes and comments. And if you like these types of videos, please subscribe. Catch you later.